of the films that you've been a subject in have seen the film, and if they have responses, or if you've had any conversations with the filmmaking teams post this.
I can tell you from me, and then these guys can say that they may have had different conversations. But we basically decided it was really important to us in making the film that all the participants had just their own agency over their decision to take part. So we did not want to go to the directors to ask for like introductions. There's this really strange thing that it's like directors feel like they own like their participants, which is a really interesting, strange idea when you, again, are reminded that these are just people that are not owned by anyone. But yeah, basically at rough cut stage, we shared a cut with all of the original directors of the film. So we actually had feedback sessions and notes from all of the directors, bar one set of directors. But yeah, we had like long conversations with Andrew Jarecki and Steve James and Crystal, and you know, it was actually a really important part of the process, and they gave really important feedback. I think it, you know, kind of kudos to them in a way. It's not particularly nice for somebody to come up and like dig up all your, what happened when you made the film, and they've been like super respectful and supportive. And, you know, at the end of the day, we chose those films because we love them and because they had such an impact on us, and they're like in the canon of documentary. And so, you know, we also have tried to share that pretty clearly, that they're in the film because they're incredible, iconic films. But yeah, how have you found it? Like, have you guys, well, you don't.
Not, I wasn't understand the first cut, the rough cut, wasn't understand what is going on, but with the time cut, after the second cut, the third cut, we start to understand, we accept it. So if we, for me, if I felt that it's something I don't like it, I'm gonna say, I'm sorry, I cannot accept that. And here is like, we have like an open conversation between the participants and the director. So that's just the good things that, so why he doesn't like that, so why you like that. So we have like, kind of, we start building the subject as, or building the film as a house. So if we are all not accepted, or something is missing, so we cannot be here today and talking with everyone. So that's all. That's it.
It's, yeah, I didn't realize the full extent, I guess, of my participation in it, like what that would mean, because in the first documentary, it was just like, just answer the questions or just do this, and then that's it. It's like my part is done, or it's over with, and I don't have any voice in how that gets edited, or what's edited out, or what's kept. And with this film, there was always this conversation with the directors about how did I feel about this, and I was like, it was almost a little astounding to me that I was like, well, oh, I guess what I have to say matters in the making of this film. And I just I have to say this, that it was the directors had a deadline that they had to meet for submission of the film within a couple of hours. And it was at that point that there was some real conflict about a part of some of the footage that was shown in the film. And I was just like, well, I don't know, how are we gonna do this? And they both Camilla and Jen, were saying, well, we've got to cut that out. We have to edit it. We have to get new material. Well, we don't need to talk about it. We'll just drop it. And I was like, oh my gosh, this was literally the last hour or hours of, before they had to submit the film, And here they are editing at the last minute because somebody was not comfortable with what was shown. So they're like, okay, don't worry, we'll get other footage, we'll put other things in there. And I was just amazed. So that really was a huge shout out to me for Camilla and Jen, that they just went the extra 100 miles in making sure that everyone was comfortable with what the final product was.
I think, yeah, just I guess a tiny bit of context. It was you know, we filmed Mukunda and his mom, but we weren't filming the other brothers in the family, and they've moved on from the documentary, and so they were in a lot of the archive footage, and we hadn't really like pushed or probed that question of like, well, if they're not in the documentary, would they really be comfortable being in the archive, or like, you know, like reappearing in the archive? And so we really pushed, and I think almost like Suzanne and Mukunda, they also were so helpful and so supportive of the film that like they almost like didn't want to create a problem. And so we pushed, and we were like, really, can you go ask all of them individually and just like, how do they feel about it? And they were like, actually, you know what, they don't really want to be in this archive. And we were like, okay. And at that point, again, having a co-director, Jen, who's a fantastic editor as well, which has allowed us to make a lot of the changes. You know, we literally like dove into the cut like all weekend, all night, and we were just like, okay. And you literally can't notice. Like we recut like 15 minutes of the film in about, I don't know, 20 minutes probably. It's wild.
That's a feat in and of itself.